Reporting from Barcelona, the first day of the Mobile World Congress. It is really a dazzling place. I'm in Hall 1 and I'm in the Intelligent World that Huawei is exhibiting its hardware, software capabilities, and naturally I'm focused on Fintech. So, a couple of cases. One is the infamous M-Pesa, the innovator, the pioneer of mobile money, and I guess now a super app. You'll hear more about that. And then a couple of insights, Fintech insights from talking to different people displaying capabilities and what I understand. One has to do around the hardware for mobile banks and how Huawei is making that hardware not only more powerful and more efficient to process more data, but also at the same time less energy consumption and more optimization. So if I understand correctly, quadrupling the storage and the processing capacity while cutting the energy costs much lower than the current hardware. The other, from a software perspective, what I realize is that in Asia, Southeast Asia, and in China, what is going on is that one, banking providers like ICBC in China, they figure out a way how to interact and engage with customers that do not hold bank accounts with them by offering all sorts of, if you want, promotions or marketing that make people engage with their app, even though they might not have a bank account with ICBC or any bank account for that matter. And that is all done by harvesting the power of data. What data? The data from networks, from the telco providers, of course with special permission and agreements, and in general data that have to do with the network and enable them to do what I would call marketing, digital marketing wonders with that data. And at the same time being able to do KYC, to be able to process the payments of whatever transaction they do. So imagine if my bank, my Swiss bank, my Western bank is making different offers, a bit like the peer-to-peer payment providers are starting to do in the Western world, but that's happening in Southeast Asia and Asia in general. The other realization is that there's a continuous need to gain efficiencies in mobile banking in terms of the customer experience. So think of mobile banking services where there is need for video conferencing, whether it is for KYC or other reasons. How do you continuously optimize for that with 5G or 5.5G networks without having reliability issues that come around with the scaling of the needs? And these are the type of engineering, software and hardware problems that providers like Huawei are solving for. I'm here at the stand of Safaricom with Erwin. We all know that Safaricom M-Pesa is one of the major innovations around mobile money, already 15 years old. So 30% of Kenya's GDP is processed
from processed in Italy.
Within this ecosystem or the super app of M-Pesa.
Between the M-Pesa.
Within the M-Pesa
ecosystem. So how the M-Pesa Fintech strategy 2023, right? Where you can see that this is all the ecosystem that we have in M-Pesa, right? We could basically the operator, the customer, the business partners, right, and the government, right? And then if you look at this, then there are 4 pillars, right? The M-Pesa has basically one of the next financial services, which basically covering all the, like a wealth management, savings, insurance, credits. This is basically all normally in the financial system, right? This is covered by the M-Pesa. And then here, that what you mentioned earlier, right, about the super app, right?
So shopping,
everything that you can, you can dream of, right? That is coming in the one apps, right? That you can use by the consumer. So to access that, right? So that they can pay, they can lend money, and everything that they can use here. And then the other part of that is the integrated business solution that you can integrate with the business, right? Where you are basically the merchant, so you are basically the small business that you need access to the financial system, or you need to set up your business, so basically you just integrate it with M-Pesa.
So is this a little bit like WeChat, where businesses can sort of create their website and have
all the stuff, right? If you want to pay, the customer also. They receive the money through the M-Pesa, so basically through this one, right? And the other thing is this is for business, and then of course the payment network, so it's expanding not only locally, so across the border payment is also something that new that M-Pesa can do globally, right? So in Africa itself, so you can transfer the money, for example, to the other market, right? Just put in your.
But is it that you have, the two parties that the money moves from, customer or business A to B? Do they both have to be on M-Pesa or
no,
can
not necessarily. Not necessarily, because
so
obviously
interoperability with other networks.
Yeah, for example, if you have other country customer with Western Union, for example, right? So you can basically send to any country with Western Union through M-Pesa, right?
M-Pesa.
So basically, there are many things that are partners also here. Also, some other operator which is also using the M-Pesa. For sure, you can also transfer the money.
Erwin, show us some great numbers of how the network has grown over time, which is impressive. Here
exactly.
I saw these from 2015. We're talking about what the number of users, the number
for example,
of
exactly. So active customers, so you see from 30 million here, right?
13 million?
Yeah, now growing to 30 million.
30?
So, yes, 30 million. This is growing quite fast. I mean, this is only for the Safaricom,
Only Safaricom.
Yeah. So, and then from active merchant, right? So the business part, right? So it's around 50K. Now it's around
10 times.
Exactly. 10 times. So this is really impressive.
Huge, more than retail, the small business.
Exactly. And then the also, if you can see the ARPU, which is a very good indicator, right?
What is that?
The ARPU. This is the indicator for operator, right?
Okay.
So for the ARPU, normally it's very, very important for operator to indicate that their business is growing, right?
Yeah.
So you see it's $1.9 now it's $2.5 so it's increasing, right?
Yeah.
And the transaction is, as I mentioned before, right? So transaction value is from 41 billion, so now it's 220. So
wow, five times
exactly.
more.
Again, the transaction value in Kenya is 70% of the GDP.
Wow.
So this is really impressive numbers in overall.
And the volume I see.
The volume is 2.3 million to 11 billion, right? So again.
And here I'm impressed. I mean, the super app has parking. Here I see connectivity with the government, relief funds, and
Yes.
so on. Mobile money in Africa and in Southeast Asia is an innovation that we all know is based on agent networks. Agents are actual physical places like a kiosk or some other small business where the unbanked can go and top up their mobile money accounts with cash. So what I've seen here is different propositions on how to visualize on a heat map sort of visual what's going on with the agent networks, and if there are areas where there's more need for more agents and other areas where there's excess of agents, and therefore to try and facilitate that, because it is very crucial to the mobile money if you want ecosystem to function. So heat maps, visualizing what is going on with agents is one part of the plug and play puzzle that is behind the scenes of the magic of mobile money that is really a prevalent model in Africa and Southeast Asia. Data centers are a very big issue in everybody's mind as we scale businesses, as we digitalize, as we embed financial services in non-financial businesses. So what I've seen today here at the Intelligent Huawei World is not only how to deploy hardware to build a data center that can be built within 1/10 of the time of a usual data center. And I'm talking about the equipment that may take 2 months, and now it can be done, I think, within a week, but also the building, instead of cement buildings, some more energy and green type of building. And more importantly, what are the innovations around cooling of data centers, again, that are more energy efficient? So there's 3 real aspects that have to do with getting greener data centers and financing these types of shifts to green building of data centers.